Hi there. We're in week 4 now. That's pretty good. We're almost halfway through the course. We've had a good 3 weeks in terms of engaging with each other, engaging with the materials. I think it's been this last week has been really instructive and informative as we talked about conflict resolution, as we've thought about this particular situation with Bob and Mary, seen their resolution as they very much cared for their community and cared about the values of the Muslim community they're part of. And yet they took a very indirect approach to conflict resolution, getting away from that direct approach that is so common for Westerners. And I think it's a divinely inspired solution, but also, as I understand it, it was very intentional, that they intentionally chose this indirect method, that they had already chosen to love their neighbors and particularly love the bodyguard. And in doing so, that opened up doors for conflict resolutions that didn't bring shame to anybody, didn't dishonor anybody. It really just provided the opportunity for peace to exist in the household, just like it would exist in any other household in the neighborhood. So it was I think it was very helpful. It's good to see the dialogue as people thought about how they might do it versus how somebody in a non-majority world might do it, or a majority world response might be. Well, this week we turn to the kingdom of God in power. If we're going to talk about contextualization, we have to think about the kingdom of God, and particularly because the kingdom of God is a representation of the divine activity of God on earth and active. The presence and power and dynamic reign of God is so influential about who we are and what we do. And it comes into play in particular in the contextualization idea, because when we talk about the kingdom of God, it is a message to be received, but even more so, it is that power of God, the presence of God, the dynamic reign of God, and that includes a holistic kind of expression. And so this week we'll be looking at, you'll be hearing from Dr. Mike Larkin in a lecture video that he's provided for us in terms of working with a PowerPoint, where he's going to walk through the kingdom of God in power and the kingdom of God in relationship to contextualization. Dr. Mike Larkin is a great person for this. He's a former head of Foursquare Missions International. He currently is president of the Virginia Extension Campus of Life Pacific College. The Ignite operations that are out there. Has a lot of experience with global missions and thinking about this in terms of kingdom power. In the assignment this week, you'll be looking at some texts in Acts and reading some some chapters in Mission in Acts, integrating those ideas, and ultimately writing 3 to 4 pages of your principles that you developed about holistic ministry, about the kingdom of God. And we talk about holistic ministry it's not simply ministering to the spiritual needs, but also ministering to the physical needs, coming in the kingdom of God coming in power over the demonic, over all these other kind of things, and so that it sets things in order. In our discussion this week, we're going to talk about something about the social gospel, because that comes up. Are we to just engage with people's needs? In felt needs in terms of society? Are we supposed to bring their spiritual needs? Do spiritual needs triumph over felt needs? And how do we balance that out in terms of thinking about kingdom ministry and a contextualized ministry? So there's a lot to engage in this week. Looking forward to all of our conversation on the discussion board. Looking forward to reading your assignments from last week and giving you some feedback. And remember, as you're working on your assignments, I'm just looking for right now that the 3 to 4 pages where you're developing your principles and interacting with it and then explaining how that's applying. In the first textual interaction worksheet, I wanted to see how you got from the text through the commentary to the principle. Here, you're going to be focused in on that principle section, just as we go forward. And then all of these textual interaction worksheets are building up towards your final project in the class, because the principles that you develop in each of these are things that you're going to expand on and relate to your ministry in the final project. Anyway, that's where we are right now. Looking forward to another week as we enter into week 4. Blessings on you.